His parents died in an accident on the same day he graduated from high school. Ever since that tragic day, it had just been him and his little sister, but it wasn't just the loss of his parents that weighed on him. His entire existence had fallen under his sister's twisted control. She fed him strange meals, like spring vegetable stew mixed with her own saliva. When he inevitably threw up, she wasn't pleased. Her temper flared, and his pleas for mercy only seemed to fuel her rage. That's when he noticed her dragging in a girl tied up with ropes and tape over her mouth. The girl was someone he recognized, the manager of a club he had been a part of not too long ago. His sister claimed to have seen everything this woman had done, recounting in excruciating detail the day she had stared at her brother. She remembered the exact date and even the length of time the manager's gaze had lingered. Only she was allowed to love her big brother. His sister asked the manager if she understood the gravity of her sin. She explained that it was those beautiful, lustful eyes that had committed the crime. Without a hint of hesitation, she offered to take the woman's eyes out, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. The brother screamed at her to stop, but his protests were futile. He knew that any further interference would only result in his sister turning her wrath on his friends. She backed out a drill, pointing it toward the woman's eyes, and warned her brother that as long as he behaved like a good boy, she wouldn't harm anyone else. She didn't want to do it, she claimed. All she wanted was to spend time with her big brother. As she undressed herself, blood still on her hands, she grabbed his head and asked if he would be obedient. He had lost track of how many victims there had been, at least 5 that he could remember. His sister was a killer, and he had watched, helpless, as she butchered them all in front of him. She proposed that they continue living like this forever. His sister moved closer, her intentions clear. He had been abandoned for 5 years, with no one coming to his aid. But as he heard the creak of the door, something snapped inside him. He got up, and, to his surprise, found the door unlocked. Seizing the opportunity, he ran. As he fled, he heard that chilling, familiar voice behind him. "What a naughty child you are, Nii-san." His heart sank as he turned to see his sister standing there, hands behind her back, blood still staining her arms and chest. Out of sheer terror, he started pinching his skin, trying to shake himself out of the nightmare. There was no escape. She asked him if they should head home together, insisting that he had spent enough time outside. But this time, he was done being weak, done living in fear. He spotted a car driving by and, without hesitation, charged at his sister. With all his might, he readied himself to push her in front of the oncoming vehicle, hoping to save himself and any future victims from her madness. As they struggled, she grabbed his arm, pulling him into what seemed like a mutual fate. And in that moment, he thought it was finally over. He thought he might finally be at peace. Or so he thought.